between 9 and 10 a.m., Saturday mornings exclusively on WPWL 103.7 FM, Poland Public Radio. We're streaming live right now over Marcy's World Facebook page. And now I invite you to all join me in Marcy's World. We're going to get there using our imagination.
Thank you for joining us this morning. This is Marcy's World. My name is Dr. Nancy Iankowitz, and I'm your host. So here's a brand new story. Marcy's cousin, Hope. If you remember last time, Marcy had a really important conversation with her mom about family and meeting new family members. And cousin Hope is very important to Marcy, so let's see what their relationship is all about. February was unusually cold. Last year, when Marcy was in 5th grade, the February air didn't pinch her face the way it did this year. The temperatures never fell below 20 degrees, and Marcy thought that was hard to play in. But this year, some days the temperature went down to -3 degrees Fahrenheit. Well, this made it really uncomfortable to sleigh ride. And as you all know, that's something that Marcy loves to do. Since Nikki, Greg, and Brian were the only other kids besides Marcy who weren't allowed to have their own cell phones and laptops, they depended on their own imaginations to have fun, particularly when they were stuck inside because it was so cold. They played all sorts of card games like Go Fish. Have you ever played Go Fish with your friends? Well, I'm going to list a whole bunch of games and stuff, and if you've never heard of them, you can Google them or ask your folks. They played all sorts of card games like Go Fish, War, Rummy, and Fan Tan. Their parents taught them, and again, you can Google these if you're interested. When they were all able to get together, sometimes they played cards, but when they weren't in the mood for those games, they usually played Monopoly. It's a board game. Marcy and Nikki enjoyed playing chess and checkers when it was just the two of them. Greg and Brian preferred to do arm and leg wrestling or compete with push-ups or sit-ups. Greg had a chinning bar. Do you have a chinning bar? Do you know what that is? Stepping out of the story, a chinning bar is a metal bar that you can put up in the frame of your bedroom door. And depending on your height, that's how high the bar goes, and then you grab it, and it's stuck there, and you can lift your body up just using your arms. It's very, very cool. Well, I grew up with one. You can look that up too. So Greg had a chinning bar on his bedroom door. So when Brian went to Greg's house, that was their favorite thing to do. Chin-ups is when your palm faces you, and pull-ups is when your palm is far away from you. You look it up. Anyway, this particular Sunday morning was pretty special. It was going to be family get-together. Marcy's aunt was her mom's sister, and she had 3 children. Marcy's cousin Hope was the youngest, and she was Marcy's favorite. She was in 7th grade and very mature. Hope was like a big sister to Marcy. She had beautiful brown hair, was a talented artist, usually got really great parts in school plays, and was one of the smartest people Marcy knew. She always seemed to understand what Marcy was saying, sometimes even before Marcy understood it herself. All Marcy had to do was begin a sentence, and Hope got that look in her eye. Sometimes Hope asked Marcy questions that helped Marcy to really think differently about problems so that she could figure out things on her own. Hope wasn't bossy, and she never interrupted, even when she already knew what to say to help solve the problem. Do you have somebody at home who you can trust? Do you have a cousin or a sibling or an adult who you can go to talk about your problems and things that are on your mind? That's a really special thing to be able to do with somebody, and you have to be able to trust the person and respect that person. So if you have somebody like that, you are very, very lucky. Well, it's no wonder why Marcy asked for Hope's advice on all sorts of things like dating, bullying, and other stuff that happened in school and on the bus. She trusted Hope and could talk to her about practically everything. Sometimes Marcy went to Hope even before going to her own mom for advice, and that was okay. Because whenever Hope made a suggestion, Marcy would talk it over with her mom, who usually said, "Wow, you are so lucky to have such a wise cousin." Yep, Marcy felt pretty lucky, especially because she had someone close to her own age who she could trust and look up to. Now, do you feel lucky to have people around you who you can trust? Because if you do, that's called gratitude. And it's a very special feeling because a person with gratitude appreciates and feels lucky. And that's a really important healing thing. Gratitude helps you heal as well. We'll talk about it a little bit later. Marcy felt gratitude that she had friends and family with whom she felt safe emotionally and physically. People with whom she could share so many thoughts and feelings. So let's see what happened with all this. Marcy's a very lucky girl. Let's see how that impacted her day. She watched through the living room window, eagerly anticipating the arrival of her cousin. And no sooner did their car pull up into the driveway than did Marcy dash to the front door to greet Hope with a big hug. "I'm so glad you can come over," shouted Marcy as she was running towards Hope. And they both shared hugs and smiles. "I have so much to tell you, and so much I want to hear. How was your trip?" Oh, so Hope went on a trip and Marcy missed her. Let's see what that was about. Oh, Marcy, it was amazing. Hope's face lit up as she started to talk to Marcy, because she really loved Marcy too. "The whole family was together and we laughed and played the whole time. The only part that really irritated me was when the cell phones came out." Wait a minute. You told me you don't have your own cell phone. I don't understand. So Marcy was seeking clarification. That's a good thing. "Right," said Hope. "I don't have a cell phone, but both my brothers do. And they have girlfriends. And it really gets in the way of family time, you know?" "Oh, well, I can imagine it, but I don't have that same situation because it's just Beth and me. And neither of us has a cell phone. And we don't have our own laptop either. I mean, we can share Mom's when she lets us. She supervises us to be sure we don't mess things up. You know, like websites can hurt the computer and stuff like that." And Hope listened carefully as Marcy talked about that. "You know, Marcy, it's really good that your mom helps you to stay safe on the computer, that you don't go to websites that can mess stuff up. There's a lot of really not so cool stuff out there on the internet. Sometimes I'm glad I don't have my own cell phone or laptop. I also get to use my mom's when I need it, and it's fine with me." Marcy was very pleased to have that in common with Hope. She said, "I know what you mean. My friends sometimes stay up all night, even they text through the night. And I really think it's more trouble than it's worth." Marcy said that, and Hope got that special look on her face. "What do you mean?" She always had a way of helping Marcy choose the right words to say exactly what she meant. And that made Marcy feel good, because she felt that Hope understood her and cared enough about her to make sure that she didn't just say things to agree with Hope. "What do you mean, what do I mean?" asked Marcy. "Well, what did you mean when you said it's more trouble than it's worth?" Hope clarified. The older Marcy got, the more she appreciated when friends and family sought and offered clarification. Do you feel comfortable when people ask you what you mean or when they explain what they mean? Or does that sort of irritate you? Some people get irritated by it. But if you like when someone asks you to explain what you meant, you have something in common with Marcy. She felt very good about it because it reinforced her feeling that whoever asked the question cared about her and cared about the answer. So, that's just part of what Marcy appreciated about Hope. Marcy chose words carefully to explain what she was trying to say. What I mean is that I see lots of anger, bullying, and sadness around all these cell phones. It seems to me that my friends who don't have these phones are easier to talk to. It's like the social media is more like anti-social media. You know what I mean? Hope smiled. She remembered explaining this to Marcy when Marcy was just in 5th grade. See, right now, Marcy was in 6th grade. She skipped a couple of grades since last time we heard some stories. So now it was part of Marcy's very own thought process, and Hope knew for sure that Marcy really understood the problems with cell phones and social media. She was proud of Marcy, especially since Marcy was becoming aware of how important true friendship, communication, clarification, and eye contact can be. And more importantly, how cell phones and Facebook can distract from that. So let's step out of the story just for a minute. Did you ever notice that eye contact, looking into someone else's eyes, tells you a lot about that shared moment, even about the conversation you're having? The eyes channel energy, and you can sometimes feel if someone is angry, sad, happy, or kind just by looking into their eyes. Did you ever notice that? Try to notice that next time you look into somebody's eyes. Think, what do I think that person is trying to convey, or what's coming through their eyes? So, if someone is honest about their feelings, it comes through in their eyes when they're talking, even when they don't talk. Now, it's been said that the eyes are the windows to the soul. What do you think that means? You might want to talk about that with a person who you respect and trust. It's a fun conversation. So, you know, Marcy, Hope began, I think you're very smart. You realize the value of earning and sharing trust and respect. You have a great imagination, and you're a good friend, and I'm lucky to have you as my cousin. Your friends are so lucky to have you in their inner circle. And Marcy looked a little confused and said, what do you mean, inner circle? What is that? Oh, well, that's a group of people who share kind of mutual respect and trust. We invite people into our inner circle of friends when we feel safe talking to them. Safe like they won't hurt our feelings or make fun of us while we're there or after we walk away. Oh, well, you're part of my inner circle. Am I part of yours? Marcy thought she knew the answer, but she held her breath until she heard it. But just then, their moms called them to the kitchen to have some lunch. So both girls smiled and raced downstairs to the table, and the rest of this conversation would have to wait until after lunch. So what do you think? Hope said. Is Marcy part of her inner circle? You can even call in if you want to. It's 845-493-0355. If you're listening to this live right now on Saturday morning on the 3rd of February, give us a call. I'll take you over the break, and then maybe we'll even, be able to chat on the air. You can tune in next week also to listen to another story from Marcy's World, but after we come back from our break, we'll be talking about the health and wellness that I've prepared for you today. So this has been WPWL 103.7 FM, Polling Public Radio. You're listening to Marcy's World, and I'm your host, Dr. Nancy Iankowitz. We'll be right back with our health and wellness.